All right, so for the pentose phosphate pathway, you've got two versions. There's going to be the oxidative and the non-oxidative phases. So what you're looking for here is that it primarily makes two things, NADPH and R5P. So real quick questions are, what is the final product of the PPP? These two things, and then being able to differentiate between which one is reversible, which is the oxidative, or irreversible, which is the non-oxidative. All right, getting into some of the actual steps. So first, we're starting with the oxidative phase. There's only two steps you need to remember. It's probably more important that you know the enzyme. Glucose 6-phosphate into 6-phosphoglucano delta lactone is catalyzed by G6PD. So this one is the first step. G6PD is going to be your most important enzyme for it, or it's glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase, but they shorthand it to G6PD. And then, or the final step, which is 6-phosphogluconate into R5P, which is 6-phosphogluconate dehydrogenase. So I would say biggest things to remember are memorize that you have this reaction that turns that uses G6PD that turns it into the intermediate that gets fed into the final product that is made into R5P, or using 6-phosphogluconate. And that is all a part of the oxidative phase, or this is irreversible. Okay. Going on to the non-oxidative phase, or this is reversible. So the reason why it's reversible is because you can transfer back and forth from your two final products. Or the first one we have is transketolase, which turns this xylulose to a ribose to make cetohepulose. Or what that's pretty much saying is that you have this 2-carbon chain that is transferred onto the ribose to make a cetohepulose 7-phosphate, or a 7-carbon chain. So essentially what you're doing is like having a 5 carbons plus 2 carbons to make 7 carbons. The purpose of transautolase is transferring 3 carbons from the cetohepulose to the glyceraldehyde to make F6-phosphate. So this one is a little bit different. So what you have here is that you're taking 3 carbons, you're adding it onto 3 carbons to make a chain of 6 carbons. So if you're to think about it simply, if you have 5 plus 2, that's transketolase. If you have 3 plus 3 to make 6, that is your transautolase. And these are all under the reversible. This can switch back and forth. All right, and then just a couple of clinical notes. Purpose of R5P, it's DNA and RNA synthesis. Purpose of NADPH, it's an antioxidant, and it participates in anabolism, or you're building up. So this is your electron carrier. And then the clinical relevance of G6PD, remember, this is the enzyme that makes that kind of precursor that right before you get to R5P. If you have low G6PD, it's going to lead to less R5P, which leads to anemia. So just remember, low G6PD is anemic. That's pretty much it.